Welcome, we are live on Copacabana Beach here in Rio. It's a little bit overcast here, but it kind of reminds me a bit of London weather actually.
Yeah.
Yes, but we are, we're here counting down, 48 hours to go to the start of the Rio 2016 Games, and you do get a sense when you're walking around the beach here that it's building up. There's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of branding actually everywhere we go. And you get to meet people like this, which is pretty cool. Ben, Larissa and Kim, they're here from a comedy show that's called Comedy for Gringos. It's in English, and they've got a number of dates that they're doing over the course of the next 3 weeks for the Olympics, and it's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We just did a bit on BBC World News TV, and it was very funny. Actually, we should grab your guitar a little bit later on.
Yeah.
And get that song going again for everybody that's on
But
Facebook Live.
I'm really a rock star, not a comedian. I would like to say to be clear for who is watching us.
She's the Brazilian Beyonce, really.
Brazilian
Yeah.
Beyonce. Wow, that's a title.
When I'm sleeping, I'm just like her. Yes.
But you're both the comedians. Kim, you're the brains behind it. Is that fair to say?
I'm the producer.
The producer.
Yeah.
So tell me about the show. What do people expect when they come there?
So the idea was really because we've created sort of a scene of stand-up comedy in Rio, and the comedians thought it would be fun to perform for gringos, and we were lucky to find comedians with good English. So the idea is that people will come and have about an hour of tips for gringos and funny things that Brazilians do, and you know, it's a chance to meet real Brazilians and really hear from them, and not just the branding, but real people that live here. So
it's quite hard though, isn't it, with humour? Because it's
hard.
one of those things that can often be so specific to the country that you're from. You know, British humour, where I'm from, is quite different to, say, I don't know, German humour, or what is the Brazilian humour all about?
Well, it's the thing is, I think Brazilian humor is much more risque, and you know, because I love British humor. I mean, I grew up watching Tommy Cooper and people like him.
The classics.
Because in Brazil, I think comedy it's a little bit more edgy, and right now we're going under this comedy crisis right now because there's such people like they're cutting us so much. Like we cannot do. They're getting really sensitive about jokes here in Brazil. And it's something that in America is not like that. In America, you can say anything, and from what I know from British comedy, you can say anything because people understand that's comedy.
So why have they got so sensitive? What's happened?
I have no idea.
Because we have feelings. That's
I know they're a little sensitive to the
we have
jokes.
a heart. We have feelings.
There's not really the thick skin that there is in other places.
Well, that's
I mean,
always been the
stand-up
case.
how long has stand-up been around in Brazil? Maybe
10
like
years.
10 years?
Yep.
So it's not that long that you've had people standing up on a stage. Like, the whole point is to make fun.
Yeah.
It's new, so
they don't like people taking the mickey out of them. They don't like that.
yeah.
Yes.
What? Because they take it personally.
They
Yes.
definitely take
Just
it
like
personally.
this.
Well, myself, I'm an example of that because, as you can tell, I'm really chubby, and I got hit on stage for telling a fat joke, and the guy I was telling I'm so fat
What, here
that
in Rio?
in Sao Paulo. And the guy was like first row. It wasn't a club. It wasn't a bar. It was a theater. They were not drinking. And I told a fat joke about myself, and the guy just climbed up on the stage and hit me. And I went to the floor. He knocked me out. And what kind of world is this that I really can't understand how can a fat person climb the stage that much, you know? The guy just was like, boom, and he was on stage. He was all over me, and I was like, he's fat too. What's wrong with that, you know?
How did you feel?
Bad.
Bad, yeah, shame. But
nervous, right? To put yourself in a
yes,
position where that
yes.
might happen to you on stage.
Yes.
And that was, at the moment, I was living in Rio because I was rehearsing a musical by Cameron McIntosh. And I was rehearsing the musical here in Rio. And I would go every Friday and Saturday to Sao Paulo. I would fly just to do the show. And I remember that I spent 1 month without going back to Sao Paulo because I was so scared of going back. Because, you know, I thought the guy might be like waiting for me outside the theater. And it was really crazy because you never think that could happen to a comedian. especially with me, that I'm not offensive. I talk about myself. I don't like pointing fingers at people. I mostly talk about myself. And the guy just, we went to the cops later, and but nothing happened. It's the Brazilian style of things. But it was really, but the good thing was great publicity for me.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
Which is great for a comedian because you're hitting the headlines, you get
Yeah.
punched on stage, and people will go,
No
oh,
press is bad press.
no press is, and I'll think I'll come along and see that. What about for female comedians here in Rio, in Sao Paulo, in Brazil? I mean,
No,
is it accepting?
Yes, people are cute, but sometimes some kind of this happens. You say the word and the person say, no, you don't have to say this. You don't should say that. And I say, okay, but I can say what I say. So, and we don't do comedy to offense people. We just show us what we think about some stuffs. That's it.
So, give me an idea of the material, Kim, that you sort of decided upon like using in the show.
I can tell something about the Olympic Games, because in Brazil we have soccer. That's a Brazilian sport, and in Brazil people think that.
Did you say soccer?
Yes.
Football?
You said football. I thought people are not going to understand.
Just Americans say
Okay. Sorry. So the football players here are treating like God. So here in Brazil we don't say God, we say Neymar.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the man of the moment, right?
yeah.
And then actually we were here on the beach doing some filming on Sunday, and I mean, the kids everywhere obviously playing football, that's all they do here in Rio. And everyone just calls themselves a little Neymar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean a little Neymar. But so how does the Olympics feature in the comedy that you guys are involved in?
Plenty of material for us, I guess. Plenty of material. I mean, because it's completely different from what we're used to. I mean, there are a lot of foreigners in Rio all the time, but like I was walking down the beach yesterday, and it's amazing how many different people you can see. It feels like Disney World somehow, but with people have no shirts on. It's good.
Just a naked Disney.
Just a naked Disney, yeah.
Disney for porns.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the issues like security and transport, Zika, does that feature?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that something that is a bit too close to the bone to really to have as
I think
comedy
somebody might have
material?
done a joke about Zika in one of the shows.
I did.
You did, right?
Yeah.
I did, and was about Zika and British accent, because I said the word says it all. Because people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker.
That's right.
And
I mean, how did that go down? Is that for mainly geared towards a local audience, or are you looking at the foreigners when you make a joke?
No, a
like
joke like that would be for the foreign audience.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that there are things about Rio. For example, people worrying about being robbed. You can say to someone 100 times, well, just keep your stuff near you, or don't put your bag here, or keep.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay, but they're still nervous. But I think if you go to a show and someone makes a joke about being robbed, for me, that just relaxes it a little. You're like, oh, right, people get robbed in New York, people get robbed in Boston,
Okay, just
in
take
London.
my money and
It's
go.
okay. We're like
It's
every
okay.
other good city, So I think it's partly about just helping people relax and enjoy the things that are great about Brazil, which are great, and the things that are not so interesting about Brazil.
Just want to say welcome. You're watching a Facebook Live here with BBC World News, and we've got Kim, Larissa and Ben, who are comedians and a producer of a comedy show called Comedy for Gringos. It's here in Rio for the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
16 dates.
16 days
Quite a
of
lot.
comedy.
Can we tell them the website if they want to see a clip? We have a little clip of the show on our website.
Right.
Is it okay? Oh, okay.
So we're live.
Then I'll tell you. I know the website. It's www.improbablecomedy.com.
Okay, there's your plug.
Yeah, and
No
the name of
more
the show
plugs.
is Brazil 101, like Brazil 101 Comedy for
So you've got
Gringos.
16 shows starting. You've already started,
We did.
haven't you?
We've done
Yeah.
3. We have one tonight here in Lemmy, which is right near Copacabana, and then next week 4 shows, and the following week.
And how have they been received so far?
People love it.
People love it,
have
yeah.
very good response.
We get lots of expats as well. So they, it's for them, as you were an expat
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
some point. It's like, I think it's good listening to live comedy in English for them. It's something that, I think we can call it comfort comedy, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's like having your favorite food at home. It's having comedy. Very familiar,
Yeah,
and in English.
with a different point of view, of course.
But I mean, doing comedy at any other time of the year is special. But when you're doing it against the backdrop of the Rio Olympics. That's quite something else, isn't it, here in Rio? Because
It's a little intense.
I
A
know
lot of
we've had the
attention
World
here.
Cup, but there's a lot of attention
Lot of
here
attention.
and a lot of spotlight. So what does that mean for you in terms of your performance and the pressure that you feel? Do you feel it?
Oh,
Do you feel pressure, Larissa?
I'm always feel pressure all the time during all my lives.
Well, I was just.
I practiced a lot to do the shows and testing material and jokes and writing another jokes, and she's our boss and she's really pushing us every time, so it's really hard.
I am pushing a little bit.
I
Well,
just
I'll
want to say,
that-
Rajas just sent us a comment saying, what is the best sporting nation at the Olympics? So who would be the best sporting nation? You're probably all going to say Brazil.
Yes.
I would say Japan.
Are you going to say Japan?
Yeah.
Where's the loyalty there then?
To take them a support, you know. Okay, let's go Japan.
Actually, I haven't said there's a big Japanese community here in Rio,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're been talking
I'm-
about quite a
I'm-
lot, which is represented in the food that you get on the street.
Isn't that interesting that there's not that much diversity to the food in Rio, but you can get a bunch of kinds of sushi?
But and there's Brazilian sushi because it's a kind of
Yes.
sushi that they don't have in Japan.
have
Yes, where you
mango.
get strawberries.
Yeah.
Strawberries
So you
and
just have them
Cuban.
in a day.
Mango.
Yeah.
I think hot Philadelphia is also one you can't get anywhere but here.
Yeah.
It's salmon and cream cheese, and then they put it in
And they
in
fry
like
it.
whatever
Yeah.
that dough is. It's very delicious. It's totally not healthy.
Jack's
It's yummy.
asking,
Yes.
Jack's from Arizona. Hello, Jack. Good
Hey,
to have you
Jack.
with us. He says he doesn't think Rio was the right choice for the Olympics. What do you guys think?
You're right.
Yes, you're right, but now what we can do?
Yep. Party has started. So.
Why
Let's
do you
go.
think he's right?
Take our drink and enjoy.
Well, we had lots of political issues lately, and it was like people were really happy about having a party, but they didn't want to organize a party. So things started to, blow.
I would like to say something. Rio is not prepared for the rain.
We should just say that we've got
We're in the middle of a bunch of kids.
I think they're from Peru. This is
From
what happens
Peru.
on
That's Japan that I
Copacabana
told you,
Beach.
okay?
Hey, Peru.
Go Japan.
Hey guys! Hi!
And
Hi.
Hey Peru.
It's amazing when you go around this city.
Yes.
You see lots of athletes just kind of sightseeing, training, and all sorts. Actually, we were walking near Baja where we're staying, and you had cyclists from Poland and Austria.
It's cool, right?
And
Yeah.
it's so cool, but you almost have to pinch yourself
I
when
know.
this is happening.
I was on the airplane, and these two guys, they were like either Greek gods or Olympians, because you just can't be that big and still be human. They're massive shoulders and like really good looking and just tall, and anyway.
Or they could be strippers. Just.
Or stripper or
Or
Chippendales.
strippers,
It's
yeah.
it's possible.
Well, we might see more of that, the athletes. If we spot any more athletes, we'll let you know. But going back to the point about whether or not Rio should be staging these games, you said...
You know,
Brazilians
I would
a
like to
party.
say something. I think Rio is not prepared for the rain. Imagine about Olympic Games. That's what I think about this beautiful city.
But there's a cost as well,
the
right?
Brazilians, and especially the Cariocas, they're like the nicest, most accommodating people. And they don't want to say no. Even today I was walking and I said to someone, oh, we have a show. And can you tell me this? And she's like, sure, sure, sure. But in the end, she like couldn't do the thing and she just didn't want to say no. And I think like Brazil didn't want to say no,
Yeah,
like,
that's
they were
what
like, do you want to have
happened.
the Olympics? And Brazil was like, we'd love
Let's
to do
go.
that. Sure,
And
yeah.
the people who
We
could
have
say
feijoada
yes.
and samba.
It's so weird getting serious, being a comedian and
I
speaking
know.
serious,
It's a
but
little,
Okay.
it's a little
it's
existential.
I think what happened is people don't want to say no, but the people who said yes, they said yes because they wanted their part of the cake. There was a lot of corruption involved in the Olympics,
Yeah.
and places there
Are
were.
you saying that we have corruption in Brazil? Oh, I'm going
No,
to
I'm
get
not
out of this
saying that.
conversation.
And I'm not. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I should just say, for the sakes of two sides of the story, we are in no way supporting this view that Ben's got here. We are completely impartial.
Just a
but-
Facebook Live
Yeah, it's interesting when
conversation
you have-
with real
Yeah.
people.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the corruption issue has come up, of course, because you've got political uncertainty. You don't really have
Yeah.
a president in charge of your country at the moment, do you?
Okay.
Right?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
it's really confusing right now because we don't know where to go, who to trust.
Yeah.
It's really hard right now, but it's for us it's amazing because when politics go down, comedy goes up. So
Yeah.
You know, it's we
lot
get
of material.
lots
And
of
now
material.
I am Larissa present for the Larissa's Island, so that for me it's great.
I didn't understand anything you just said then, but I'm sure it was. What did you?
Okay, that's amazing. I'm the present of my own world.
Got it. I'm
So
sorry.
for
That's
me it was
me.
good. Now
It
I'm the
was good.
purser of the
I
world.
should say that Larissa has.
Can I grab her?
Yeah, I want you to. Can you go and grab Larissa's guitar, because
Okay.
the comedians here, you know, you've got a lot of fantastic material. We were listening to some of the jokes you made on World News TV just a short time ago.
Yeah.
And I asked you on air there about your advice for what we've got about 500,000 tourists coming to the city over the next 3 weeks. And
Okay.
you've got a little song that you've put together about what you would say to them. So I think before you play it, let's just get an idea if people on Facebook want to hear it. Do you want to hear it? If you do,
You definitely
give us a
want to
thumbs
hear it.
up or a comment.
Please.
And as soon as we get a lot of comments and thumbs up, we'll get Larissa to play. So just hold off on that for a minute or
Okay.
two.
I'm
We'll
really
see how-
getting nervous with
how
this.
it's-
I'm feeling like the voice. Yes, can I? Oh no.
Do you want to be a contestant?
Yes, I'm nervous.
It's good though. It's definitely worth listening to. But
Simon Cowell might hear your song
Oh my
You
God.
and call you up. He might.
Simon Cowell,
It's
get
exciting.
me on your show, please.
but having said that, you don't really need Simon Cowell. You've got some incredible musicians and artists here in Brazil,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And the history
Yes.
as well of this place. I mean, when it comes to Brazil and Rio, it's music.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Actually, our stand-up show in Rio got its start at Bottles Bar, which
Yes.
is actually which was the birthplace of Bossa Nova.
And we felt like Elis Regina doing stand-up.
Yes. Yes.
So great for us.
Should we have a little listen then? I think we've got quite a lot of thumbs up. So,
Cool.
Larissa, take it away. We should just say this is your advice to people visiting the city of Rio during the Olympics.
Okay, there's a love song about Rio. He's a carioca, just see the way he walks down on the street after doing a robbery. When you hear the shot, just lay down on the floor. Rio, you stole my heart and my wallet.
Great.
Very good.
Great.
Very,
great,
very
great.
good. Although, you hear a lot about security
Yeah.
and thefts and Copacabana and Ipanema. Is it true or not true?
Oh, well, it's true, but it's not like all the time. But
Yes,
wait, where's my wallet?
They are really organized people. Yes, that is.
Yeah, they are much more organized than the politicians.
That's why it's crime, organized crime.
But
Yep.
it is something that you hear about that. I mean, we were really conscious of it, and we've been, it's fair to say, a little bit worried about, you know, with our kit and all our television stuff, you know, all
Yeah.
our crew and our tripods and our cameras,
would say
how
you
we're
should
going to
be
be
careful.
broadcasting.
But it's kind of hard because sometimes you see ugly people passing by and you think that could be an arrastão. And no, they are
You have to
just
say
a
what a
family
arrastão is.
ugly, okay? You think we should be robber, but sometimes you have a lot of people ugly and just a family, not
Because the thing, what happens
Do you
here,
ever
Not
get
bad
out of
people.
comedy role?
what?
Do you ever get out of the comedy role?
Do you ever talk just regular and not tell jokes?
Okay.
No, I thought you were going to translate that like in Portuguese, and instead you just went from English. That was even better.
I think the thing about about theft, it's not like, you know, here's not like Oliver Twist. You got to pick a pocket or two. It's different because it's not like pickpockets. People really point guns when they want your stuff. That's a major problem, and it's like it's, you know, at night gets really scary sometimes at some places. But I've seen so many cops around. I'm impressed.
They're a lot.
Yeah,
we've
Not
noticed
with
the amount of
machine guns. It's
security
new.
as
When I was
well.
living here,
And
there was
men's
no
prepare
concept.
for rods. For me, it's funny because I feel like G.I. Joes in the street.
It does
For me,
feel
it's
like
really
Yeah,
funny.
it
Oh,
does,
there
yeah.
are toys. Can I
Yeah.
play?
But I can
For
say
me,
as
it's
a
amazing.
not Brazilian, I don't feel the same panic. I feel like the Brazilians really feel like it's super dangerous here. I just feel like you have to be smart. You don't go out with anything that's valuable. You don't look showy. You don't have things that are fancy. You don't walk in a dangerous place
Yeah.
by yourself. And then mostly nothing happens. I mean, mostly.
Well, that's good to hear. We're going
mostly.
to have to wrap it up, but I just want to say that John, hi John, says very funny song, Larissa. Well done. And
Thanks,
Gustavo says
sir.
Rio is the best. Rio is
Yeah,
the
my
best.
heart.
Come to
Um,
Rio.
stay with us on the Facebook Lives here on BBC World News, because at 5:45, that's local time here in Brazil, our colleagues Hugo and Julia Canero will be here doing another Facebook Live, and they're going to be doing that from the Olympic Stadium, where the first match of the Rio Games has taken place. It's a women's football game, and they'll bring you all the very latest from there. But to all three of you, thank you so much.
Thanks
It's been
a lot.
great.